Welcome to the third in the series of Stories from St. James. I'm Roe Intrieri. I've been a member of St. James for the last 20 years. I consider St. James my church family. I'm very involved at St. James on many levels. I've been graphic designing for the church basically since I started. I'm also involved in many of the food events. Food is very important to me. I give food as gifts. I donate food. I donate my time to food events. I've been involved with the pancake supper as a co-coordinator. I created the chili cook-off years ago when my children were younger, and it was a way to get community to St. James. I was one of the leaders of the youth group, and for years we went on midnight runs where we fed the homeless. And one of my favorite parts was making my meatloaf. We'd make meatloaf for 100 and make 100 sandwiches as the bag dinners that we would bring down. Recently, I've been working with Brewster Cares, where St. Lawrence O'Toole sets up temporary overnight housing from December to March. And they look for volunteers to make dinners, like dinner for 16, every night of the week for those 3 or 4 months that the venue is open for the homeless to come in. Also, during COVID, we created Taste of Joy dinners. It was a way to have the community come to at least the village hall to pick up a meal, say hi, and be on your way. And we did that for a couple of years during the COVID years. Today, I am going to make for you my mom's cheesecake. And it's a recipe she got from her friend 50 years ago. My mom was walking down the block. We grew up in Yonkers, Villa Avenue. Her friend Roseanne said, "Dottie, come in and you taste my cheesecake." My mom loved the cheesecake. And up until then, she had been making the Italian version of cheesecake, which has got ricotta in it. And the ricotta makes it a little more gritty. The cake we're going to make today is velvety smooth. So that was like 50 years ago. In the 80s, Chris, my wife, was working at Cunard, and she brought this cake in, and the co-workers loved it. You know, she brought it in for a birthday party. So from there, they said, "Would you sell this cake?" So for the years that she worked there, she made dozens of cheesecakes and sold them. And she also sold it to a few New York City restaurants. So we work during the day, make cheesecake at night, deliver them in the morning. So that's the cheesecake history. So it's called Cheesecakes by Christine, and I have our little logo that I created back then. So today we're going to make the cake. What you're going to need for the cheesecake is a springform pan. I actually probably grabbed this from the auction. So look for one of these, springform pan. All of your ingredients you're going to want at room temperature. This cheesecake has cream cheese, you'll see in a second, and it has to be at room temperature. So we're first going to make the crust. The crust starts with 1 sleeve of graham crackers that I have already ground to crumbs. I have 3 tablespoons of sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I've melted already 3 tablespoons of butter. So in the butter goes our ingredients. There's just enough butter to hold the crumbs together. This is going to go right into our pan. I'm a non-waster. Unlike some of the food programs where half the food is left in the pan, I won't do that. All right, so now here's where your hand comes in. We are just patting down the mixture, butter, breadcrumbs, cinnamon, sugar, and we're making our crust. There we go. In the oven, 375. In the oven, we're going to bake that. We're going to bake that for 8 minutes. I've taken the crust, the graham cracker crust, out of the oven. It baked for 8 minutes. We I softened the 4 bars of cream cheese. We'll be putting in a cup and a quarter of sugar. We have 5 eggs. We have a pound of sour cream. We have our whipping cream, a pint, and we'll be putting in 1 tablespoon of vanilla. So here we go. Sugar goes in first. We're going to cream this. Next, we're going to put in our 5 eggs. Little backstory, my Nana always used the hand mixer, and to this day I use a hand mixer. Next up is our pound of sour cream is going to go in. This is truly a full fat recipe. Just go for it. Sour cream is in. So we're beating after each ingredient. Next is our heavy whipping cream. This is 8 ounces. Let me just give this all a little scrape. Last thing we're going to put in is our 1 tablespoon of vanilla. This is definitely a recipe you do not want to overbeat. Sometimes the cheesecake cracks on top, so we're hoping this one does not crack today. All right. Ingredients go in. We bake for 50 minutes, 375. I leave the cake in, don't open the oven. I leave the cake in overnight. It sets. So today it's daylight. We are going to put this in, and I'll probably, more like dinner time, take it out. So 50 minutes, then we're gonna shut the oven off. The longer this cake sits, the creamier it's gonna get. So if you want a cake on a Saturday, I would make the cake on a Wednesday. Enjoy.